Welcome back, my favorite Python programmers, to a brand new video, and in this one we're going to be exploring string manipulation, which is a very important topic when it comes to Python programming, especially if you want to develop more data analysis and data scraping skills. So we're going to be looking at the following homework. I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the function that we will need to write, and here are a few examples for you to take inspiration from and test out what you've come up with on your own. Because as always, what I do is I give you this homework. I want you to try it out on your own, then, or take the screenshot, whatever, try it out on your own, try to do your best, and then we will go through this solution together. But before we get started, a quick word from our sponsors. If you're serious about leveling up your Python skills, let me tell you about what I do outside of YouTube. I've been teaching Python for over 5 years now, and I run a Python teaching institute where we help students go from complete beginners to absolute masters with a curriculum that focuses on practical application and building real-world skills. All the lessons are one-on-one and they are personalized just for you. This tailored approach ensures that you'll start seeing improvement within just 2 weeks, and by the 10th week you'll be on your way to mastery. And it's not just Python either. We dive into SQL, machine learning, and you'll graduate with over 5 portfolio projects to help you stand out to your employers. Oh, and for young learners, we also have a super fun Scratch program that starts with Scratch coding and gradually introduces Python through game development projects. So if you feel that this is something that you want to reach your goals faster, or you have someone that you love that you want to give them this opportunity to, or some younger kid, maybe yours, maybe someone else's, that you want them to learn Python and coding properly from a young age, make sure to reach out to me via WhatsApp on the number that I'll leave right here or in the description, or you can do the same by sending me an email to the email that I will leave somewhere around here or also in the description. Thank you so much, and let's get started with today's lesson. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First things first is right here. As always, I'm going to take you through everything step by step and tell you the logic that I use so that you can do it on your own later on. So what do we have in here? First of all, we need to write a function unique words that takes as input a string which will represent the English language text. Alright, so just normal English language text is being sent to a function. So I will define this function, and as always, I like to just get started, right? Just define function words. I will call this my string. I don't like to call it just S or whatever. I like to have a nice name for it, or string of words or whatever, something like that. Anyway, we've defined our function. This function will return a list of unique words found in your string. So you have a long string that contains multiple, of course, substrings, and we only want to return the unique ones. So for example, right here, I know you know, right? Once we pass it through the unique words, it gives us I know you. So all, because no appeared twice, we're not going to see it again. Perfect. Ignore the capitalization, return all lowercase. All right, so all lowercase except for I. So right here, as I can see in this example, a good idea, a lot of good. So good and good appear twice, and A appear twice. So at the end, we should only have a good idea, lot of. All right, perfect. So the A's are all taken to the lowercase, even the big one, and right here the I's stay in the uppercase. Okay, so as soon as I see that, immediately I start thinking, okay, so there we'll have to go through each word and check if it's an I. If it's not an I, we will take it to the lowercase, right? My thinking. Just off the top of my head, maybe something will come up later. Remove any punctuations, periods, commas, exclamation points, apostrophes, quotation marks, and question marks. All right, so we also have to remove the quotations and question marks and all of that. And as I read this, I immediately think to myself that, oh, for example, the comma. I think that first of all, we will need to remove the punctuations, right? And then start thinking of cleaning, or not cleaning, of splitting and taking every single word out. And last but not least, order in the returned list does not matter. Okay, so great. So we don't have to reorder our list, even though that's not too hard. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So for example, right here, the question mark was not added. Perfect. So as I said, one of the first things I try to think about when writing this code and organizing a project is what to get started with. Like, what are the things that I want to start writing? What should I do? Should I remove punctuations? Should I lower everything down? And I think that the best way is to always remove the stuff that you don't need, like filter out before you start manipulating your actual string, like filter things out. So we want to filter out the punctuation. So we need to actually create a variable that will hold all the punctuations and use that as a filter to pass through our string. So for example, I will create the punctuations, right? Punctuations. I don't know if that's how you write the word punctuation. But anyway, so it's going to be a string and it will have periods, commas. So periods, commas, exclamation points, apostrophes, quotation marks. This one will be a bit hard, but before I do it, let's do the question marks. So these are all of our punctuations, but we also need the double quotation marks to be removed. And as you can see, it's kind of hard to do, right? Because we have these. Now, it's not going to be a problem if we have two, one after the other, all good. But there is a better way, and that way is using just a backslash, right? So this backslash, okay, can I please, okay, there we go. So this backslash makes this double quotation a special character, and it allows you to write double quotations inside of your single quotations. And yes, this is considered a single character, that is the double quotes. Perfect, so now we have all of our punctuations. So now we need to create a new string that will contain my string but without the new. So I'll call this the filtered string, right? And I'll say that it's equal to an empty string because I will be appending it. And I'm going to say for char in my string. So I'm going through every single character in my string. I'm going to say if the char is in the punctuation, or actually not in the punctuations, then I'm going to append my filtered string plus equals with the char, right? And for the sake of debugging, I will print out the unique words and I will send in, oh, no, I apologize. I meant I will, let's go ahead and return actually the filtered string. And I'm going to print out unique words. And right here, I have the examples already written. So I'm going to actually copy this right here. So remember, right now we're just printing out the words, the filtered out string. So let's see. And I use the only example that does not contain any. Well, I'm going to, oh, I do have a point right here that was removed. So I'm going to add an exclamation mark. This one, like single quotes, and yeah, that should be good. I wanted to add a double quotes, but that would add, you know what, let me actually test this one out for you. So right click and run, clean, excellent. So now we have filtered out our string. The next step is to what? The next step is to take everything into the lowercase. Now, except for the I. Now, the only issue right here is that we don't have access to individual words, right? We have an entire string. And if we take all of it down, I mean, I don't know if that would be a suitable way to work with it, because even if we do later on, we will need to go through and check if it's a individual I, if this I is on its own. And if it is, we have to take it to the uppercase. If it's part of a word, it shouldn't be in the uppercase. So I would say it's better if we actually split the string into a list of words, right? And we can easily do that. So I can say the list of words is equal to filtered string dot split. So now if I return this a list of words. Look at what I'll have. Boom, there we go. So now I can actually check each individual one, each individual item, and if that item or that whatever item, yes, we'll stick with item. If that item is an I, or first we'll say if it's not an I, then we'll just add it. But if it is an I, we will keep it at the uppercase if it's a standalone I. And right here we'll be able to also compare the words, right? We'll be able to compare them and see if it has occurred previously. So we have our list of words. Now we're going to create the cleaned list. So the cleaned underscore list. And it's equal to just an empty list. Later on we will then take it, or you know what? Maybe the cleaned list isn't appropriate. Maybe we just can have the cleaned string, right? And it will just be an empty string, and then we will start appending our big list. Even though, you know what, let's stick with list. Let's stick with list. Okay. So I'm going to go through my list of words. So for word in list of words, right? I'm going to check if the word not in the cleaned list, then I will append that word to my cleaned list, right? So dot append with the word. And by the way, I've used the plus equals and the append so that you know. But whenever you're appending to a list, it's better to use the dot append because you could have some issues. So there we go. This is our cleaned list. This should make sure. So I'm going to return my cleaned list just for you to see how it eventually looks like. So right click and run. All right, so there we go. We only have the unique words, right? The no has disappeared. But the problem with this one is that if I have, for example, the next example, which is this one, right? So if I have this and I try to right click and run, look at that, we have an uppercase T. While in the output, it's required that we have a lowercase t in the 2. And if I had an I right here, this I should stay in the uppercase. So we have to go around that. So we have to find a way to lower it down. So what I will do is instead of just sending in the word, I will send in the word lowered. But if I do that, even the uppercase I, so if I, for example, do dot lower right here on each individual word, I mean, it worked, the T is in the lowercase, but I is still in the uppercase. So I have to make sure or check if it's the actual I or if it's an I that we want. So what I can do here is I can check if word is equal to I, right? Or to uppercase I, then I will just append it normally without lowering it, right? Otherwise I will append it, I will just else clean.append word normally. So without the, oh wait, it's the opposite. So right here. So let's see what we get out of this. Perfect. There we go. So this example is perfect. Everything is good. Let me test it out on our last example. So right here, we have what the output should look like, right? So this should be the output on the last line. And there we go. Everything is good. I don't know if there's any issues right here. Maybe you could find some. I would highly recommend that you tell me about it. So right here, if I add an I and a question mark and all of that good stuff, right click and run. There we go. None of the problems. Even though it's all good, there shouldn't be any issues. You should start thinking like, is there a better way of doing it? And well, actually there is. So if you ever read about something called sets, you know that the sets actually remove all the redundant pieces or all the redundant items or items that appear more than once. So for example, if I have my list of words, so I will comment this part out and I will print out the list of words and I will also print out the list of or set list of words. So look at the output that I will get. So look at this. I know. Right now, we don't have any no's. And don't worry about the none. This is coming out from the printout. So look at this, to, be, I, or. So look at that. I only have one B and one to and one not. Well, we had one not right here and right here. So look at that. Once you convert a list into a set, the items that appear more than once are taken out. So you only have that item appearing uniquely. And this is great because it allows us to avoid a lot of this code. Now, one more issue is that if I had, for example, what would I say? We need to lower things down. Now that was the only issue left, making sure that it's an I. So right here, I'm going to uncomment this, and instead of just making it into a set, we'll do something slightly different. This was just for debugging. I will actually make this into a new set. This is how you declare a set, not with the squiggly brackets, not like this. This is reserved for dictionaries. So this is how we initialize a set, and we don't append it like this. So we're going through the list of words, and if word is equal to I, we will append, but instead we don't even need this one, right? We don't need this condition right here. I can remove it, and instead of list, I'll call this in a set, and I will copy, paste, 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 and instead of append, we use the add. And now we've removed one extra condition, and look at that. We have this nice looking output. I know it's not a lot, but it's always because sets aren't used as often as I'd like, because they are very nice, they're very useful, especially in situations like these where you can just get rid of an extra condition, right? And it's very nice, it's very cool. Now there is more optimization whenever you're using two adds. Like maybe off the top of my head, I'm thinking maybe we could lower everything, the entire string, and then check if it's I. If it's like I, if it's lowercase I, then we take it to the uppercase and then we add it. So we can also get rid of even more things in here instead of doing an if else, or instead of doing this add twice. I don't know, but this solution works. Everything is good. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a substantial amount of things. Like we've understood how to initialize the punctuations. We've looked at how we can use sets. And I've also showed you how to go through these steps in a smart way. So these are the things that I look forward to teaching you if you decide to join my program and actually become a real Python programmer in the future. And this is also the way that we teach children in a very matter-of-fact way with practical application at every step. So if you enjoyed the content, make sure to leave a like, share this video with someone that you want to make smarter in a few hours. And yeah, I appreciate you watching this. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.